How they compare 2024 Toyota Grand Highlander versus Mazda CX-90 in Nissan Pathfinder and Honda Pilot. A slew of new 3-row SUVs, Honda Pilot, Mazda CX-90, Nissan Pathfinder, and Toyota Grand Highlander, gives families a whole lot to consider. Over the past year, a number of family-friendly 3-row SUVs have picked up major revisions, reinvigorating a hotly contested segment and offering more versatility and creature comfort than ever before. The Honda Pilot, Mazda CX-90, Nissan Pathfinder, and Toyota Grand Highlander all bring something important to the table, so let's break these SUVs down across a few categories and see how they stack up against one another. A bit of housekeeping before we start: we'll skip over off-road oriented models for this comparison, which means we won't be looking at the Honda Pilot TrailSport or the Nissan Pathfinder Rock Creek, as there are no Mazda or Toyota analogues yet to compare them to. Also, the Toyota Grand Highlander is the most recent reveal of the group and thus features the fewest raw numbers. Exterior. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and we're not here to judge your aesthetic, so we'll focus on the facts. The Grand Highlander is the longest SUV of the group, coming in at 201.4 inches, just ahead of the CX-90 at 200.8, and the Pathfinder plays caboose at 197.7. The Mazda is the wheelbase champ at 122.8 inches, about 6 inches longer than the Grand Highlander. The Pilot is the tallest of the four at 71.0 inches, while the Mazda keeps it compact at 68.2. Ground clearance fanatics will dig the CX-90's 8.0-inch figure, besting the Honda and Nissan by about an inch. Interior. Sadly, the Mazda CX-90's girthy dimensions do not translate to an abundance of cargo space. In fact, the Mazda is the least capacious of this collective, offering just 14.9 cubic feet behind the third row, 40.0 behind the second, and 74.2 with the second and third rows folded down. Its 30.4 inches of third-row legroom is more than the Pathfinder can muster, but the Pilot offers more. The Grand Highlander is the undisputed legroom and cargo king, though, with a whopping 33.5 inches of third-row legroom, 20.6 cubic feet of storage behind the third row and 97.5 cubes with 2 rows folded. 7 and 8 passenger configurations are available on all 4 models. Engine and transmission. Honda and Nissan keep it simple here, with the Pilot and Pathfinder offering just a single engine. Both utilize a 3.5-liter V6, although Honda's is marginally more powerful, making 285 horsepower against the Nissan's 284. The Pilot wields a standard 10-speed automatic transmission, and the Pathfinder makes do with a 9-speed. Things are a little more complex in the CX-90. Mazda's lineup offers 3 powertrain flavors. A 3.3-liter inline-6 produces 280 horsepower and 332 pound-feet in turbo guise, while Turbo S models bump those numbers up to 340 and 369, respectively. There's also a plug-in hybrid getup that mates a 2.5-liter inline-4 to a pair of electric motors, to produce 323 horsepower and 369 pound-feet. All 3 tiers bolt to an 8-speed automatic. Toyota hasn't divulged all the Grand Highlander's powertrain specs yet, but there's still plenty to talk about. The gas-only option pairs a 265 horsepower turbocharged 2.4-liter inline-4 to an 8-speed automatic. The 243 horsepower hybrid uses a 2.5-liter inline-4 and a continuously variable automatic transmission. At the top of the lineup is the Hybrid Max, which we believe is the same setup as the Crown's Hybrid Max trim, pairing a turbocharged 2.4-liter inline-4 with electric motors to produce 362 horsepower and 400 pound-feet, which is sent through a 6-speed automatic. Honda offers front and all-wheel drive on all except the top 2 trims, which are exclusively AWD. Nissan offers FWD and AWD across its entire Pathfinder lineup. FWD and AWD are offered on the Grand Highlander's gas and hybrid offerings, while the Hybrid Max is AWD by default. AWD is standard on every CX-90. Miles per gallon and towing. Based on all currently available information, the Honda Pilot appears to be the least fuel-efficient SUV of this group, achieving an EPA estimated 19 miles per gallon city, 27 miles per gallon highway, and 22 miles per gallon combined with front-wheel drive. AWD models lose 2 miles per gallon highway and 1 mile per gallon combined. In its thriftiest form, the Pathfinder sneaks ahead of the Honda with 21 miles per gallon city, 27 miles per gallon highway, and 23 miles per gallon combined. Both 3.3-liter Mazdas come out on top at an EPA estimated 23 or 24 miles per gallon city, 28 miles per gallon highway, and 25 miles per gallon combined. CX-90 PHEV variants have yet to receive official EPA figures. The only Grand Highlander figure we have is Toyota's own 34 miles per gallon combined estimate for the hybrid. Gas and hybrid max models have a big, fat TBA next to them. For maximum tow rating, the Pathfinder stands ahead of the crowd at £6,000. The other three SUVs top out at £5,000. Standard features. Throw enough money at most SUVs, and you'll end up with nearly the same equipment, whether it's ventilated second-row seats, third-row USB ports, panoramic sunroofs, or auto-dimming mirrors. Base trim standard equipment is arguably more important, because it shows what the skinflint buyers can get their hands on. And with new car prices on the rise, it's important for budget-conscious buyers to not feel like they're only allowed to drive rolling penalty boxes. The Grand Highlander has the highest level of standard equipment of this group, which shouldn't come as a surprise, because its base model is technically a mid-level trim in the Toyota verse. Standard equipment includes a 12.3-inch infotainment display with wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, 7 USB ports, heated front seats, blind spot monitoring, and a suite of active and passive safety systems that includes full-speed adaptive cruise control, traffic sign recognition, and a trick active distance control that can gently brake the car as needed. The CX-90 has the second largest standard display at 10.3 inches. With the Pathfinder behind it at 8.0 inches, the Pilot plays caboose with its paltry 7.0-incher. All three vehicles include 4 USB ports, with 1 Type-C port on the Pilot and 2 on the Pathfinder. This triumvirate includes heated seats, but they aren't standard. The CX-90 and Pathfinder have standard blind spot monitoring, and the Pathfinder kicks it up an extra notch with standard rear parking sensors. While all the cars on this list carry suites of driver aids, the Pathfinder is the only model that doesn't offer adaptive cruise control on its base trim. Price. When it comes to base price, the $36,295 Pathfinder is the value king. The Pilot's base LX model is $1,000 more expensive, and the CX-90 starts at a hair over $40,000. We expect the Grand Highlander to start around $43,000, since its base XLE trim is a mid-tier get-up on other Toyota SUVs. The Pathfinder tops out at $51,165, while the Pilot reaches its ceiling at $53,375, and we expect a top-trim Grand Highlander to land somewhere around $56,000. Opting for the most expensive CX-90 may cause some wallet shock, with a 3.3 Turbo S Premium Plus maxing out at an eye-watering $61,325. When comparing cars, it's important to consider factors such as performance, safety, fuel efficiency, interior features, and price. The Toyota Highlander, Mazda CX-90, Nissan Pathfinder, and Honda Pilot are all midsize SUVs, designed for families and versatile use. In terms of performance, you may want to look at the engine size, horsepower, torque, and transmission. The Toyota Highlander and Honda Pilot typically offer a V6 engine, while the Mazda CX-90 and Nissan Pathfinder have a turbocharged 4-cylinder engine. The transmission options may vary between a traditional automatic or a continuously variable transmission, CVT. When it comes to safety, you'll want to check for standard features such as airbags, anti-lock brakes, and stability control, as well as any advanced safety features such as lane departure warning, adaptive cruise control, and blind spot monitoring. It's also important to check for crash test ratings from reputable sources such as the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, NHTSA, or the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety, IIHS. Fuel efficiency is another important factor, especially if you plan to use the vehicle for long commutes or road trips. The EPA ratings for city and highway fuel economy can help you compare different models, as well as any hybrid or electric options. Interior features can also make a big difference in your driving experience, such as infotainment systems, navigation, audio systems, climate control, and seating configurations. You may want to look for features such as Apple CarPlay, Android Auto compatibility, a touchscreen display, or a panoramic sunroof. Finally, price is a major consideration for most car buyers. You'll want to compare the base prices of each model, as well as any additional options or packages that may affect the final price. Overall, it's important to do your research and test drive different models to determine which SUV best fits your needs and preferences. On-road capabilities. When it comes to on-road capabilities, mid-size SUVs like the Toyota Highlander, Mazda CX-90, Nissan Pathfinder, and Honda Pilot are designed to offer a balance of comfort, convenience, and performance. Here are some factors to consider when comparing their on-road capabilities. 1. Ride comfort. A comfortable ride is important for long road trips or daily commutes. Look for SUVs that offer a smooth and quiet ride, with comfortable seats and ample legroom. 2. Handling and steering. SUVs with responsive handling and precise steering can offer a more engaging driving experience on the road. Test drive each model to see how it handles curves, turns, and highway speeds. 3. Suspension and shock absorbers. The suspension system and shock absorbers can affect the SUV's ability to absorb bumps and rough roads. Look for SUVs with well-tuned suspension and shock absorbers to provide a more comfortable and stable ride. 4. Braking performance. Reliable and responsive brakes are crucial for safety on the road. Look for SUVs with anti-lock brakes, ABS, and electronic stability control, escape, to provide better braking performance and traction control. 5. Towing capacity. If you plan to tow a trailer or boat, check the SUV's towing capacity to ensure it can handle the weight. The towing capacity can vary between models and trim levels, so be sure to check the specifications carefully. 6. All-wheel drive. All-wheel drive, AWD, can provide better traction and stability on slippery or uneven road surfaces, such as wet or icy roads. Some models may offer front-wheel drive, FWD, as a standard option, with AWD as an available upgrade. Overall, on-road capabilities depend on several factors, including the SUV's design, technology, and driving dynamics. Be sure to test drive each model and consider your specific needs and preferences when comparing their on-road capabilities. Which crossover SUV is better? As an AI language model, I cannot say which crossover SUV is better, as it depends on your specific needs and preferences. However, I can provide some general information on how to compare different crossover SUVs to help you make an informed decision. When comparing crossover SUVs, you may want to consider factors such as performance, safety, fuel efficiency, interior features, cargo capacity, and price. Here are some key points to keep in mind. 1. Performance. Crossover SUVs come with different engine options, including 4-cylinder, 6-cylinder, or hybrid powertrains. Consider the horsepower, torque, and transmission options to determine which vehicle will provide the performance you need. 2. Safety. Look for crossover SUVs that come with standard safety features such as airbags, anti-lock brakes, and stability control. Advanced safety features such as lane departure warning, blind spot monitoring, and adaptive cruise control can provide an extra layer of protection on the road. 3. Fuel efficiency. Crossover SUVs vary in terms of fuel efficiency, with some models offering better gas mileage than others. Consider the EPA ratings for city and highway fuel economy to find a model that fits your needs. 4. Interior features. The interior of the crossover SUV is an important consideration, including infotainment systems, navigation, audio systems, climate control, and seating configurations. Look for features such as Apple CarPlay, Android Auto compatibility, a touchscreen display, or a panoramic sunroof. 5. Cargo capacity. If you plan to haul a lot of gear or have a family, cargo capacity is an important factor. Consider the amount of cargo space behind the rear seats, as well as the total amount of cargo space when the rear seats are folded down. 6. Price. Crossover SUVs vary in price, so consider your budget when comparing models. Be sure to factor in the cost of additional features and options when comparing prices. Overall, it's important to do your research and test drive different models to determine which crossover SUV is the best fit for your needs and preferences.